All right, my section of the text, my section of the text deals with two main things. Castelli A poses a fundamental question based on the comparison that Lear has made between rhetoric and psychoanalysis, and B begins to develop an answer. He doesn't completely develop the answer in this section, but hopefully the person talking next will get us a little further towards the answer. The question is, if emotion is a key component in rhetoric, which is what Lear is asserting in his metaphor, then why does the audience need what a rhetor offers? In other words, if we're dealing with a reasonably intelligent audience, why are they not capable in themselves of making a decision about something? And Castelli offers two sort of alternatives to this. The first one would be that of Aristotle, who says that rhetoric brings discipline to a naturally occurring process. In other words, the rhetor is just sort of a natural extension of the audience, and is sort of guiding the audience through a process that they're all feeling naturally anyways. The second alternative, which is the one that he eventually agrees with, is that good judgment from the audience is difficult because their judgment is based on how subjects perceive the world and themselves. In other words, the audience is not capable of making a decision by themselves because of the difficulty that they have in how they perceive themselves and how they perceive the world. And he does eventually side with this side of the issue. And that comes from him building upon Lear and Freud, the notion that the audience and individuals do not really stand in a position of knowledge towards who we are. That comes from two reasons. The first one being that I, or the I, is not a determinate object, but an emerging subject. This is something we've already touched on, and this is something I'm sure we've all experienced. I mean, how many of us here have changed your position on a political, a moral, or even, a political, a moral, or like an economic issue since coming to Denison? Putting yourself in a different situation and forcing yourself to interact with different types of people leads you to question how you perceive the world, and does, in fact, make you change how you perceive the world. The I is not a fixed point. It's something that's capable of being influenced and is influenced every day. And the second reason that we don't really stand in a position of knowledge towards ourselves is that we tend to engage in archaic, or what Castelli would call incomplete reasoning. For Castelli and Lear, the mind is more than just the archaic mind. In fact, it develops out of this notion of the archaic mind. And in the text, Castelli refers to a quotation by Lear. By failing to recognize archaic mind, and this refers to Kant, who is a person, in Castelli's point of view, that doesn't recognize the difference between the full and complete mind and just the archaic mind. So by failing to recognize the archaic mind, Kant misdescribed the boundaries of who we are. And it's crucial to the process of individuation that I incorporate this other-mindedness as part of myself. That the deeper significance of Freud's injunction, where it was, there I shall become. Again, the notion that the I is not a fixed point, that the I is capable of being influenced and does change all the time. So for Castelli and Lear, the true mind emerges from this archaic mind. Archaic mind being sort of the base feeling and the base logic, but in order to be the full mind, it has to include emotion, which is where we get full reasoning. And so to expound upon this further, Lear's psychoanalysis analogy, here's Ian with the next section.